Welcome to Lento English, ready to level up your English. Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
1. Introduction. Imagine you are talking with someone in English. Maybe they ask you a simple question like, "What did you do last weekend?" You feel a little nervous. You think about the answer in your own language first. Then you try to change it into English words. This takes time. Maybe while you are thinking, the other person starts talking about something else. You did not get to say your answer. This can feel bad. Translating in your head like this is a common problem. When you change words from your language to English in your mind, it makes speaking slow. You stop and start a lot. You cannot speak smoothly. This is called fluency. Translating stops you from being fluent. It also means you sometimes miss the chance to speak. You miss the chance to share your ideas or just be part of the talk. What if you could speak English without translating first? What if the English words just came to your mind? This means thinking directly in English. When you think in English, you can speak more easily and quickly. You can join conversations without waiting. You feel more sure of yourself when you speak. This guide will help you learn how to do this. It will show you how to stop translating in your head. It will teach you ways to start thinking in English instead. We will look at this step by step. Each chapter will give you ideas and things to practice. Learning to think in a new language takes practice, but it is possible. This guide will show you the way. You can learn to speak English more smoothly and feel good about your conversations. 2. Why it helps to think in English. Thinking in your own language and then translating into English takes a lot of time. This makes speaking feel slow and difficult. When you translate word by word, it is hard to speak smoothly. But there is a better way. You can learn to think directly in English. Think about things you do easily, like walking or riding a bike. You do them without thinking hard about each step or movement. This is called automaticity. It means doing something automatically without needing much effort. You can learn to speak English automatically too. When you start thinking in English, you stop the slow translation process in your head. Your brain learns to find the English words right away. This helps you speak more like native speakers do. It helps you build automaticity in English. Thinking in English has many good effects. First, you will speak faster. You do not need to pause and search for words from your language. This saves time in conversations. You can answer questions more quickly and keep the conversation going. Second, you will feel more confident. When speaking is easier, you worry less about mistakes. You feel better about talking to people in English. You can share your ideas and feelings more easily. Third, it helps you connect better with other people. When you speak more smoothly, others can understand you better. It makes conversations more natural and fun. You can build better relationships with English speakers. Learning to think in English is a very helpful step. It makes speaking faster, saves time, builds confidence, and helps you connect with others. 3. Be ready for your journey. Learning to think in English is like starting a journey. It is an exciting journey, but it is not a short one. Changing how you think takes time. It will not happen in one day or even 1 week. It is important to understand this before you start so you feel ready. Think about getting ready for a long race like a marathon. A runner cannot just decide to run a marathon tomorrow. They need to train for many weeks or months. Learning to think in English is similar. It needs regular work over a period of time. You cannot expect to be perfect right away. Because this journey takes time, you need patience. Be patient with yourself. Some days you will feel good about your progress. Other days might feel more difficult. This is completely normal when learning something new. Do not be hard on yourself when it feels slow. Remember that learning any big new skill takes time. Being kind and patient helps you to keep going. Regular practice is very important for this journey. Just like the runner needs to train often, you need to practice thinking in English regularly. Try to practice a little bit every day or several times each week. Consistent practice helps your brain learn the new way of thinking much better than practicing only sometimes. Even small amounts of regular practice add up over time and make a real difference. Putting effort into this practice is also key. Good things in life often need effort. Think about something you feel proud of doing. Maybe you learned a new skill for work or learned to cook something difficult. Did it happen without effort? Probably not. You likely worked hard and spent time on it. Learning to think in English is the same. Your effort will lead to good results. Every time you practice, even for a short time, you are building your skill. Imagine speaking English easily and smoothly. Imagine having conversations where you do not need to stop and translate in your head. The words just come naturally to you. This is the wonderful goal of your journey. It feels amazing to share your ideas and connect with people easily in English. Reaching this goal is definitely possible for you. Every small step you take, every time you practice, brings you closer. Remember that all your effort is worth it. Keep thinking about this goal when the journey feels long or difficult. Be ready for your journey, be patient with the process, and practice often. 4. Start with small things. Now let's begin the journey to think in English. We will start with easy steps. You do not need to do everything at once. It is okay to start where you feel comfortable. The first step is to start small. Look around the room where you are right now. What things do you see? Try to think of the English names for these things in your head. Do not say them out loud yet, just think the words. Maybe you see a chair, a table, a window, or a book. Think chair, table, window, book. This is a simple but important exercise. When you name objects in English in your mind, you practice using the words you already know. You are remembering your English vocabulary. This helps make those words stronger in your memory. You can do this exercise anywhere. You can do it when you are on a bus, walking outside, or sitting in a park. Just look around and name things in English in your head. This exercise also helps you find words you do not know. Maybe you see an object, but you do not know the English word for it. This is good information. It shows you what new words you need to learn. You can make a note of these things. You can write the word in your own language in a small notebook or on your phone. Later, you can find the English word for it. Think about other details too. What color is the object? Is it big or small? What shape is it? For example, you see a red book or a big window. This adds more practice. The second step builds on the first one. It is called building word pictures. This means you think of more words that connect to an object. You are still not making full sentences. You are just thinking of related words. Let's use an example. Imagine you see a box of tissues. First, you think the word tissues or box of tissues. Now think of other words connected to tissues. What words come to your mind? Maybe you think of words like box, paper, soft, white. Maybe you think about why people use tissues. Cold, sick, nose, sneeze. Maybe you think about actions, pull, use, throw away. You can also think about where it is, table, room. Think about words like empty or full. All these words connect to the box of tissues. When you think of these connected words, you start to build a picture in your mind using only words. This helps you connect words together. It makes your vocabulary bigger. You learn to think of many English words around one idea or object. This is like building with small blocks. First, you have one block, the object name. Then you add more blocks, the related words. Later, you can use these blocks to build sentences. For now, just practice naming objects and thinking of connected words. These first two steps are simple ways to start thinking more in English every day. They help you use the English you know and find the English you need to learn. 5. Use words together. Let's talk about strategy number 3. This is about how you remember new words. Think about when you learn a new English word or phrase. Where were you? Who were you with? What was happening? Try to take a picture in your mind of that moment. This is called connecting the word to your first meeting with it. Why does this help? Because our memory works well with stories and situations. When you remember the situation, it helps you remember the word. For example, imagine you learned the word delicious when you ate pizza with friends. You remember laughing and enjoying the food. Later, when you want to say something tastes very good, you might remember that happy pizza night and the word delicious comes to your mind more easily. So, when you learn new vocabulary, always try to remember the context. A context means the situation around the word. Was it a happy time, a work meeting, reading a book? This connection does two things. First, it makes the word easier to find in your memory later. Second, it helps you understand how to use the word in the right kind of situation. Now you are ready for strategy number 4. Start making sentences. In the last chapter, you practiced naming things around you. You also practiced thinking of other words connected to those things. Now we will use those connected words to build simple sentences in English. This is a big step towards thinking in English. Start with very simple sentence structures. For example, you can use I see, this is, it looks, I feel. Let's go back to the tissue box example. Maybe you looked at a box of tissues and thought of these words: box, soft, paper, cold, nose, blue. Now connect them into simple sentences in your mind. I see a box. The tissues inside are soft paper. I use them when I have a cold. My nose feels better. This box is blue. You are taking the single words and making connections. You are telling a small story in English in your head. Do not worry about making long or perfect sentences. Short, simple sentences are great for starting. The goal is to connect ideas using English words. It is very useful to practice saying these sentences out loud. When you speak, you use different parts of your brain than when you only think or write. Saying the words helps them become more automatic for you. Try talking about objects in your room using simple sentences. If you feel ready, you can try recording yourself speaking. Use your phone or computer. Then listen back. You can hear your own voice speaking English. You might notice how you sound. You can hear the words you used and how clearly you spoke. It helps you notice things you might want to practice more, like pronunciation or maybe speaking more smoothly. Listening to yourself is a good way to check your progress. Remember, the most important part is to practice speaking regularly. 6. Use English more often. Now you are learning more words and making sentences. That is great. The next step is to understand how to use words and phrases in the right way. Sometimes, a phrase is good for one situation but not for another. It is important to know the difference. Think about when and where you can use new English words or phrases you learn. For example, maybe you learn the phrase to be in over one's head. This means you have too much work or something is too difficult for you. Think about situations where you could use this. You might say it to a friend when talking about a difficult project at work. You could tell your colleague, "I feel like I am in over my head with this report." When you learn a new phrase, think about different places or times you could use it. Are there other situations like the first one? Thinking like this helps you build a collection of examples in your mind. It is like building a library in your head. This library shows you how to use English expressions correctly in different moments. It helps you understand English better and use it more naturally. Another important way to think more in English is to put yourself in English situations more often. This is sometimes called immersion. It means you should try to do many of your daily activities using English. Make English a bigger part of your life. How can you do this? There are many ways. Try watching television shows or movies in English. Listen carefully to how people talk. You will hear real conversations and learn new expressions. You can start with shows you know well or use subtitles in English. Also, try reading in English every day. You can read simple books, news websites, or blogs about things you like. Reading helps you see how words are used in sentences. It helps you learn new vocabulary too. A simple change you can make is to switch the language settings on your phone or computer to English. You use these devices every day. Seeing English words often helps make them feel normal and easy to understand. One of the best things you can do is find people to speak English with. Practice speaking is very important. If you have friends, family members, or coworkers who speak English, ask them to talk with you in English sometimes. Be brave and try to use the words and sentences you are learning. If you do not know people nearby who speak English, you can look for partners online. There are websites where you can find language partners. You can also join online groups or communities where people practice speaking English together. Spending time talking with others helps you use English actively. When you do these activities, you surround yourself with English. You hear it, read it, and use it more. This helps your brain get used to English. It makes thinking in English easier over time. It is an important part of your journey to speaking English more fluently and feeling more confident. Keep trying these ideas regularly. 7. Talk about what you like. Here is a 7th strategy to help you think more in English. This method uses subjects that you really enjoy. Learning is easier and more fun when you are interested. Think about what you like to do or learn about. Perhaps you love movies, gardening, technology, travel, or history. Choose one specific topic that makes you happy or curious. Once you have your topic, look for materials about it in English. Find easy articles online or simple books. Listen to podcasts or watch videos made for learners about your subject. Try to use a few different sources about the same topic. For example, if you like cooking, you could read 2 simple recipes and listen to a short podcast about food. This is a good way to learn. When you read and listen about one topic several times, you will meet the same vocabulary and sentence patterns again and again. Seeing and hearing words repeatedly helps you to remember them well. You also learn how these words fit together in sentences. This builds your understanding naturally. Reading and listening are useful first steps, but the next step is key for thinking in English. You must talk about your topic. Find another person and have a conversation about what you discovered. Share the interesting facts or ideas you found in your reading and listening. Talking about the topic means you actively use the new vocabulary and sentence structures. This active use is very important. It is more powerful than just passive learning like reading. When you speak, you practice forming thoughts directly in English. This helps the new language become truly yours. It also builds your confidence. To do this, you need a speaking partner. Who can you talk with? A friend who speaks English is a good option, or maybe a colleague at work is willing to chat sometimes. Many learners find practice partners online. There are also online communities or small groups where you can practice speaking English. Choosing who you practice with is very important, especially at the beginning. It is best to practice with people you trust. You need to feel comfortable and safe with them. Feeling safe reduces nervousness. When you are not nervous, you can think more clearly in English. You will feel more brave about trying new words or phrases, even if you are not completely sure about them. Trust makes trying feel less scary. A good speaking partner can offer helpful feedback. They can tell you if your message was clear. They can let you know if you used a word in the right way. If you make a small mistake, a trusted partner can gently help you correct it. This kind of help is valuable for improving. Focusing on topics you like makes English practice enjoyable. Discussing these topics with people you trust helps you use the language actively and builds confidence. This strategy is an excellent way to get better at thinking in English about things you care about. 8. What to do next? How can you know you are getting better at thinking in English? It feels good when you see progress. You will notice some changes. You will translate less often from your own language. When you speak, you will pause less. You will not stop so much to search for words. Your sentences might become a little longer or use better words. You might share more details when you talk to people. These are all good signs. They show your hard work is helping and you are improving. Sometimes learning feels slow. You might think, why is this taking so long? Remember, learning a language is like training your body. It needs time and regular effort. You cannot become strong after only one day of exercise. You need to practice again and again, consistently. Be kind to yourself. Be patient. Every time you practice, even for a short time, you get a little closer to your goal. Thinking and speaking easily in English is possible, but it takes work and time. Keep going, your effort is important. What happens if you get stuck when speaking? Sometimes you might still need to translate a word. This is okay. It is part of learning. When you get stuck, stop for a moment. Think about the word or idea that is difficult. If you are talking to someone, you need to keep the conversation moving. You can try using a different word that means almost the same thing, or you can explain your idea using other, simpler words you know. For example, if you forget confusing, you can say it is hard to understand. Later, write down the word or topic that was hard. This shows you what you need to practice more. You can study this area again using the ideas in this guide. Learning to think in English is a big change. Big changes take time and practice. Keep using the ideas from this guide. Start with small steps. Be patient during your learning journey. Every day you practice, you get better. You move closer to speaking English easily. Some days might feel harder than others. Maybe you are tired or stressed. This is normal, but if you practice regularly, you are making progress. Notice the small good moments, your small successes. Maybe you have a fun conversation in English. Maybe you did not feel worried speaking. Maybe you did not translate for 5 minutes. Celebrate these moments. Feel happy about them. They show you are learning and growing. Keep practicing, and you will reach your goal.